it's Cherry, and in today's video we are going to be checking out the new Pale Garden biome, guys. Not only will we be checking out the new Pale Garden, we'll also be checking out its new mob, the Creaking. We've also got some new blocks to play around with, and I'm super excited to get into today's video. If you're new here, welcome, and thanks for checking out the channel. Maybe consider subscribing and liking if you enjoy the video. Let's go ahead and get into it. The very first thing I want to chat about is the natural generation of where this bad boy biome is going to form in our natural Minecraft worlds. From what I can tell so far, the Pale Garden is going to be found particularly near the dark oak forest, but I've also found it within the birch forests and the spruce. So it's going to sit in with the rest of our forest biomes nicely, and generally speaking, I found it high up on hills. Part of me does feel like this is a quick redo of the dark oak biome, and I do wish the trees and their leaves weren't quite as identical. I think a mix between the dark oak tree trunks but with the spread out hanging leaves like the mangrove would have been absolutely fire. But hey, maybe that's just me. Or is it? Let me know in the comments. Something I do want to mention is how effectively the vibe changes from day to night. In day, it's dull and there's not much going on. But the second the sun goes down, it really feels different. It really does make you second guess what you just saw, which brings me to the Creaking. I feel like every YouTuber is covering this thing right now. I'm not going to go too deeply into how this thing works, as you probably already know, but we obviously have the Creaking heart within the tree, and when we look at the Creaking, he stops moving, and when we don't, he'll move forward to attack us. So just walk backwards and keep your eyes on him, right? Well, it's actually a little bit easier said than done, especially when you've got to go ahead and collect the Creaking heart from within the tree. To pick this thing up, you also have to have an enchanted axe. I'm sure you know how this Creaking works, but I just had to cover it quickly. I absolutely love the particles that fly through the woods connecting the Creaking to the heart when impacted too. They just look so cool, and I feel like the community asked for atmosphere and ambiance, and that is what they delivered. The atmosphere and the aesthetic in the biome is just so on point, especially when we really have been begging for that atmosphere. It really brought that eeriness to it. Now let's go ahead and actually check out the biome that this Creaking lives in. We've checked out where this biome naturally generates, but we have yet to take a look at what actually generates within the biome. So of course we have all these new colours and a few new blocks within the biome itself. This pale moss is absolutely fire. I really like it. But it does look a little bit like gravel, just a tiny bit. I've placed some standard green moss down to compare, and boy do I enjoy this grey moss. I really enjoy that there's more than one type of moss now in the game, and finally a moss that will go into Badlands too. I feel like the grey is going to really go well with Badland builds and things that don't need that vibrant green but still need something. The other thing this biome is home to is the new pale hanging moss and the moss carpets. These moss carpets are on point. When you place them down, they create a foliage and vines going up whatever block you've placed them next to. If you take some bone meal and bone meal the moss, you can get it to grow higher up the block. However, 2 blocks high is the limit. But we can grow this on whatever we like, and the moss can be placed on anything too. It doesn't have to be a natural block. Alright, the last thing that I want to mention is the sky. The sky's change of colour when you enter the Pale Garden tunes out to this kind of grey colour, and it really adds to that washed out eerie effect. It's quite cool, especially with the sun going down. So moving on to the blocks that this biome offers us, some of the blocks and doors are stunning. The only other white blocks in the game are such a hard graft to get on survival too, whether that's bone block, nether quartz, terracotta, even the mushroom stem. And I'm not even going to collude diorite because you can't tell me that's white. But they are all not easy to get in survival. So it's nice that us survivalists of the world have a white wood that you can use for light builds early in the game. Let's go ahead and check out some of the blocks on some of the builds that I've kind of already got set up. I really like the monotone palette that's been introduced. Obviously earlier this year we got an update with all the new tough blocks, which almost now with all the white pale wood blocks rounds off this whole monotone grayscale palette. From black stone to deep slate, tough to stone, and now the white with everything else in between, we almost have every grey and mute tone colour we could want, leaving now just new colours for Minecraft to add. I feel it's pretty smart to get all the monotone colours out of the way before adding any new and different variations of other colours. I love some of the things we could do with these blocks. Like using the moss carpet blocks to give enchanting rooms and potion rooms an overgrown fantasy feel. I loved that the vines grew up barrels, it's such a vibe. Because of the block muteness, it could go with any colour or block type too. I really loved the pale oak and the dripstone combo. I built a dripstone cave house and it fit in perfectly. It gave it a dried out feel for an arid mining cave. Doing interiors with it is really nice too, as it gives the room a really light and open feel. I love the use of the whitewood for fairy tale type staircases too. I built all of this pretty quick just to give you guys an idea, so please don't judge too hard. But I hope you get the idea of how it will kind of look, and hopefully you're feeling pretty inspired on how to use it in your own builds. Pretty much the last thing that I want to touch up on today's episode is during Minecraft Live, you may have noticed the villager news. I absolutely loved the villager news. That should basically be the Minecraft movie. But the villager news showed the villagers being absolutely terrified of the creaking. I actually want to inform and share with you guys that this is in fact not the case. The creaking and the villagers are entirely passive to each other. The creaking will not chase the villagers, it's not bothered by them, which I think is pretty useful and interesting for using this in farms or when it comes to pranking and scaring your friends. And I also like that because the villagers aren't inherently a mean mob, and so it doesn't make sense for nature to want to attack them. It doesn't make sense for the trees to want to attack them. Whereas us, the player, well, that's questionable. But that's everything for this video, guys. I hope you have learned something, or just in general enjoyed hearing everything that I thought I had to say about it, or share with you just in general about this new Pale Garden update. Oh, and bundles are coming too, in plenty of colours. But for now, guys, this has been Cherry Controller. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you did, maybe consider giving me a like and a subscribe. I would appreciate that massively. If you already have, then you guys are super cool. And if not, you know what to do. But for now, we are signing out. Cheers, guys. Oh, you can find me on other social medias like Instagram. I'm setting up a Discord as we speak. Oh, and Twitch. I'm on Twitch. Come join me. We live every now and then. It's kind of fun. And we're out, guys. Bye.